it's a past, then we will run into the same place. I've turned away, remain strong. Sweep away the crime, the wall, the wistful tree. The end has been dusted. I am doomed to mix my way in the promised land. Silence, deadly silence. Through the night, I feel the feeling of my demise.
The Shaolin Monk build revolves around using cold-infused Dryleaf Whirlwind, Ash of War, on either the Dryleaf Arts or the Dane's Footwork to deal devastating damage and posture damage to your enemies. Both weapons are fine, so just pick your poison. To complete the build, you'll need the Shard of Alexander for a 15% boost on weapon arts, the Shattered Stone Talisman to boost the damage of kicking and stomping skills by another 15%, Millicent's Prosthesis, and the Ron Wing Sword Insignia for a damage boost after consecutive attacks. The tiers that you'll be using will be the Stone Barb tier for 30% more posture damage, and the Thorny Crack tier for even more damage after consecutive attacks. For armors, that's your call, I guess. I do not have the rights to judge something as sacred as a man's personal cosplay. You can use the Golden Vow pots instead of using the incantation to save up levels on Faith. Or you can just use the incantation or the Ash of War if you want to. Just do whatever you want. I'm not your dad. The idea of the build is actually quite simple. The weapon art, Dryleaf Whirlwind, throws multiple fast flurries of attacks. Each hit comes out very quickly, making it possible to trigger the buffs from Millicent's Prosthesis and the Wingsword Insignia alongside the Thorny Crack tier simultaneously. And yes, they stack. With both the Shattered Stone Talisman and the Shard of Alexander, you'll be getting a very hefty 30% damage boost on your Dryleaf Whirlwind. In addition to the Stone Barb Crack tier to boost the posture damage of the already high posture damage of the weapon art itself, you'll be poise breaking bosses after 2 or 3 casts, given that you hit all 5 attacks. Some of them might be difficult to land. The second and third instance of the weapon art will hurt far more than the first, given that by the time the first one is done, you'll be getting the first trigger of the consecutive attack buffs. And by the time the boss's posture broke, you'd be at maximum power. Just enough to completely decimate the remainder of the boss's health bar with a riposte, given that they still have any. To get the Dryleaf Arts, you simply have to go to the High Road Cross side of Grace, grab the item here, talk to Dane, and do the gesture that you picked up just now. This will trigger a duel, and you'll get it after beating him. As for Dane's footwork, you'll get it way later in the game, when you have to kill him. Sorry for the spoilers, sorry not sorry. As for the talismans, the Ron Wingstone insignia and Millicent's prosthesis can be obtained from Millicent's questline. This, however, needs you to be at least on NG+, as you can only get one of them from a single playthrough. If you don't want to do that, you can just get yourself the Millicent's prosthesis on your first playthrough, and swap out your Ron Wingstone insignia with a normal Wingstone insignia. It is a slightly weaker version, however it's still very worth using. As for the Shot of Alexander, you want to complete Alexander's questline. That too is in the base game, not in the DLC. Finally, the last two items that you can get in the DLC will be the Ash of War for the Dryleaf Whirlwind, and the last item, which will be the talisman, the Shattered Stone Talisman. And this is going to be where to find it. Now, for some final thoughts. The weapon itself isn't exactly amazing, but when combined with the Ash of War, it becomes an extremely powerful weapon. The build is so versatile that you can even buff it further with, say, Flame Grammy Strength, or Golden Vow, or even the Howl of Shrubbery. You can even swap one or two of the talismans with, say, Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman or the Pearl Drake Talisman for some more bulk and longevity. This build quickly became my personal favorite build since I first started using it to clear the DLC, starting from about later half of the game. And yes, this build is absolutely broken. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know what content you guys want next on the comments section down below. This is your Uncle Big Fish. Peace.